welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Leese, and on today's episode, we're going to dive into the latest box office numbers and headlines from around the industry. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this episode. If you're a podcaster looking to grow your audience and get more engagement, you're going to want to check out Poddex today. Head on over to poddex.com, use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off your order. And now, without further ado, let's dive right in. Universal's horror comedy Cocaine Bear blew past box office projections, earning an impressive $23 million from a little more than 3,500 North American theaters in its opening weekend. The blood-spattered animal adventure landed in second place on domestic charts, behind Disney's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which all but collapsed in its sophomore outing. Ant-Man 3 managed to remain in first place given its huge $106 million opening, but the comic book installment is suffering from negative word of mouth. It added $33.2 million from 4,300 venues in its second weekend of release, marking a brutal 69% decline from its debut. Now, Quantumania holds the distinction as the biggest week-to-week drop in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, including Love and Thunder, which dropped for 67%, Black Widow, which plunged 67.8% while debuting simultaneously on Disney+, and Eternals, which fell 62% after bad reviews. Globally, the movie has generated $364 million, including $167 million domestically and $196 million internationally. Elizabeth Banks directed Cocaine Bear, which earned another $5.3 million at the international box office for a global debut of $28.4 million. The movie was budgeted at roughly $35 million. For Universal, Cocaine Bear is another win for original ideas, following its killer doll movie Megan, which became a surprise hit to the tune of $170 million globally. Moviegoers were mixed on Cocaine Bear, giving the film a B- cinema score. Inspired by the true story about a drug runner's plane crash, the wildly R-rated Cocaine Bear follows the residents of a small town who try to escape a 500-pound black bear that ingested a duffel bag of cocaine. In third place, Lionsgate's religious drama Jesus Revolution put projections to shame by debuting to $15.5 million from a little over 2,400 theaters. Heading into the weekend, the movie was expected to earn $6 million to $7 million. Faith-based audiences, 59% were female, 89% were 25 or older, were charmed by Jesus Revolution, bestowing the film a rare A+ cinema score. From I Can Only Imagine filmmakers, the Irwin brothers and their company Kingdom Story Company, the $15 million budgeted movie follows a youth minister and a pastor as they partake in the evangelical Christian movement that swept Southern California in the early 70s. Avatar: The Way of the Water and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish rounded out box office charts at number 4. James Cameron's Avatar sequel added $4.7 million from 2,500 venues in its 11th weekend of release. It is now the 9th highest grossing movie in North America, with over $600 million. Overseas, the sci-fi blockbuster has generated a massive $1.6 billion, bringing its global tally to $2.3 billion, Another box office mainstay is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, followed closely behind with $4.1 million from a little over 2,800 locations in its 10th weekend in theaters. The animated sequel set in the Shrek universe has been chugging along with $173 million domestically and $442 million worldwide. Overall, the weekend box office is encouragingly ahead of last year's tally by 47%. Michael B. Jordan's Creed 3, Paramount's thriller Scream 6, superhero sequel Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and Lionsgate John Wick Chapter 4 will attempt to sustain the momentum in the coming weeks. Year-to-date, 2023 has been much better than 2022, but 2022 dug itself into an early hole with a thin release schedule. So that's a hollow victory. Now, before we move on, give us a thumbs up if you like our video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Next up, Quantumania has suffered the MCU's biggest box office drop ever. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has suffered greatly at the box office after dropping massively between its opening and second weekend. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the third installment of the Ant-Man series saw a decline of 69.7% in North America in its second weekend. The film did stay atop the domestic box office, beating newly released Cocaine Bear. Still, the $32.2 million it earned over the weekend shows a massive fall after its earnings over the 4-day President's Day weekend, which sat at $120.4 million. It now holds the crown of the biggest box office drop in Marvel Cinematic Universe history, as well as the biggest in superhero movies that opened to over $100 million altogether. Before Quantumania's fall, the worst drop in the MCU belonged to Black Widow, which saw a decline of 67.8%. However, Black Widow suffered from opening during the pandemic and was simultaneously available to stream online with Disney+. Thor: Love and Thunder saw a similar decline during its time in theaters with a fall of 67.7% after opening to $144.2 million. Besides MCU outings, the biggest box office drop in the genre belonged to Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, which suffered 69.1% fall after being released in theaters. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has also suffered a disappointing start with critical reception. Many complaints have been lobbied at the film, including its poor treatment of the overarching Phase 5 villain, Kang the Conqueror, and the less than stellar arrival of MODOK, which became the subject of fan backlash. Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness defended some of the creative decisions within the film, suggesting Kang's depiction allowed audiences to see who he was as a character without his greater powers. And now on to our next topic. The Night Manager has been renewed for Season 2 with Tom Hiddleston to return. The Night Manager is back on duty. The Tom Hiddleston, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, John Le Carre adaptation has a second season in the works. 7 years after its 2016 debut, Deadline has reported that a second season of the hit miniseries is in the works, with filming set to begin later this year from a script by first season scribe David Farr. Like the original, the second season will be co-produced by the BBC. However, while the original was co-produced by and aired on AMC, this season is being produced for Amazon Prime Video. Hiddleston will return as hotel manager Jonathan Pine, who engaged in a deadly battle of wills with arms dealer Richard Roper. At the end of the series, Roper was arrested by the Egyptian authorities. This new season will open with Pine learning that Roper died 2 years ago, and that a new, even deadlier task awaits him, and further adventures await beyond this season. Although the series has not been formally greenlit, it will apparently receive a 2-season order. In the first season, Pine falls in love with the mistress of local playboy Freddie Hammond, only for her to be murdered when she learns too much. Several years later, Pine is recruited by a British intelligence officer to get revenge on Roper. Pine infiltrates Roper's inner circle and becomes involved with Roper's lover Jed, as he plays a deadly game of deception with the cunning, charismatic arms dealer. The miniseries also starred Tom Hollander, David Harwood, and Tobias Menzies. It was highly acclaimed upon its release, winning 2 Emmys for its direction and score, and garnering Emmy nominations for Hiddleston, Hugh Laurie, and Coleman. British actor Hiddleston gained international fame for his portrayal of the Norse trickster god Loki in Thor, a role he reprised across a number of MCU films and eventually in his own Disney Plus series, the second season of which will air later this year. He recently starred in the Apple TV miniseries The Essex Serpent, and can next be seen as Antarctic explorer Henry Rulsley in the adaptation of the David Grann nonfiction book The White Darkness. The Night Manager will film in London and South America later this year under the codename Steelworks. Stay tuned to the Cinema Gold Show for future updates. Let's let us know your thoughts on the topics we covered in the comment section below. Is there something we should have covered and missed? Let us know. As always, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, and take this show on the road. So as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.